All right, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, that first video I did totally messed up, so I'm gonna do another one. This is about saving and loading structure blocks. So the structure block allows us to save our worlds, or sorry, save sections of our world builds in 3D and do a few things with them. We can copy and paste within our world, and it becomes a very powerful world editing type of tool that you can use in Minecraft Education Edition. And also you can export your structure block and share it with each other and then import it into a different world. So I'm going to show you how to do both of those two things today. I'm going to go pretty fast here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you that this thing in my hand is actually a structure block, but I'm going to get rid of it so that you can see the command that I use to summon it. Okay. So the command is /give @s, which stands for self, structure _ block. Boom, it fills up my inventory. I can now click that thing down, and there it is. The great thing about this is this green line always shows us the northwest orientation. So in this world of Cochrane, right now I am standing south of the railroad tracks, and here are the railroad tracks to the north and west, or just north of where I'm standing. But that's what that green line does everywhere there is a structure block. Okay, so if I enter a structure block, I can move the stuff around inside it. So I've already preset this one to include this nice building that is it's called Game Shift, which is an idea for a business in Cochrane where people go and play games. And as you can see, that green line is in the northwest corner. It's beautifully aligned. That's where the tracks are behind. So there's a few things I've done here. I've changed the size of the x-axis, not to be 5, which is like a little 5-block line or slice, to 35, so that it includes all of this building. I also went up 15, so originally it was 5, and it cut off the top floor, but now I wanted to make that a little bit higher, so I made it 15 blocks high. And the last thing I did was the north-south, or z-axis. I called it 40. It was originally 5, so it's just like a little slice, but let's make it 40. Now, actually, let's make it 64, because that is the max for the z-axis. And it's also the max for the x-axis. But you know what's interesting is that the y-axis could be really, really big. So you end up with a massive cylinder, or not a cylinder, but a rectangular prism that's really vertical. So this is actually very useful for like making vertical structures that you can share with each other. And then you can just save structure blocks at each level and then unpack them in the world and copy and paste them anywhere else in the world. But first, let's just see how do we paste. I also just wanted to show you about the offset. So I can offset this, so I can move it far to the right, or just a little halfway. The x-axis offset, every offset you do can make it go. Right now it's -1, so it includes the ground. I could make it like 4, so it's off of the ground, but I like keeping this one -1 just to save this. So that's the offset feature. It's very powerful. You can use it to go anywhere in your world. You can offset to any coordinates. So very powerful tool here. Yeah. And yeah, let's just save this. I've called it Game Shift in Cochrane. I've saved it in the memory, but I also save it to the disk just as a backup because it's got 2 options. But now I can also load this somewhere. So I can go to another location. I can plop down a structure block. I can make sure I know it's facing north, And instead of save, I choose load. Now I can go game shift in Cochrane. Doesn't matter if there's no underscores on this, which is nice. And now it shows me what it is going to delete. So I still want to keep the ground intact here, so I'm going to go just above ground until there's nothing that it's going to delete. It is going to delete this one structure block that I'm using. So I could actually change that and maybe go like -1, nope, other way, 1, and now there's no structure block. It's not going to delete anything that exists already. So I'm going to include entities and I'm going to load it up. All right, there it is. I just copied and pasted that entire thing into this world. Now this has some entities. So this NPC is an entity. NPCs are good because you can link them to URLs like your pitch decks or your websites or any other sort of things. This one's actually linked to a Python's trinket that you can see a coded question that it asks you. So that's kind of fun if you're thinking of interactive game elements and you have questions, you can use something like that. But I want to get rid of this now, so I'm going to, instead of this, of loading this, I am going to load my eraser. So I'm going to erase all of this, and I'm going to type in eraser here. And this is just something that I made that will delete everything in its path because it replaces it all with air blocks. And as you can see, it's pretty high just because I have a big chunky eraser to get rid of a lot of stuff. I think it's not going to get rid of the ground. Yeah, it's not showing that. If I went -1 here, it would delete some of the ground, and I don't want it to delete that, so I'm just going to keep it as 0. Okay, I'm going to load my eraser and destroy that. Boom, it's gone. But it left a couple things behind. It left some entities behind, so I'm going to delete those. Oh, I can't because I'm not in World Builder true. So I'm going to change /WB to change to World Builder. Now I can delete that, and I can delete this other entity over here. All right, that is saving a structure block, loading a structure block. I could have avoided killing the entities manually by just saying here, include entities, just toggle that off, and it wouldn't include the entities. But I always like to keep that on because I like to see what kind of entities are around. And deleting @all entities is a nightmare that you never want to have, especially if you have an entire thing based on armor stance, because they're entities. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Now I'm going to quickly show you how to export your structure block that you have saved so that you can save it onto your desktop and even into Google Classroom or any other drive that you want and share it with your friends and your family. Okay, so here we go. Save is on. I'm going to save this, but I'm going to choose export. Now, this is beautiful. It actually saves it to anywhere I want on my desktop as a .mc structure file. So I'm going to save this right now, and I'm going to look at my desktop. Yeah, it's there. So it's a .mc structure. I can take it from my desktop and put it onto my drive of choice. That's it. Thanks for listening.